Hey there, my name is James Lee and welcome to my channel 5149, where I share my thoughts about business and politics. And this week we're actually going to talk about a little bit of both. So if you end up enjoying this video, I would love it if you took a quick second of your time to like the video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. That would mean a lot. Okay, so today I want to talk about how the rapid consolidation of corporate power across all sectors and industries in America has undermined one of the core tenets of this country, which is freedom. So over the past 40 years, both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have voted to deregulate most, if not all, major industries in America. So the idea behind deregulation is that natural laws of supply and demand would create more competition and lead to lower prices for consumers. But in this type of open market environment, companies need to become more efficient to survive. And one of the primary ways to achieve efficiency is through scale. So one of the unintended consequences of deregulation has been massive corporate consolidation. Just to give some context, in 1978, the top 100 firms earned 48.5% of the total income of all publicly traded U.S. companies. But by 2015, that number had risen to 84.2%. On top of that, the number of publicly traded firms over that time period has been cut in half from roughly 8,000 to about 4,000, and today just 28 firms earn half of the income of the S&P 500. These are things that we don't really discuss or even think about on the day-to-day, but this quite honestly scary consolidation of corporate power has actually created an effective oligopoly across every major industry, which in turn has a pretty profound impact on society down to the very freedoms we enjoy in our day-to-day lives. Like, America is supposed to be the land of the free, but really all we are left with now is merely the illusion of freedom and the illusion of choice. For example, are you a Coors guy or a Miller guy? Well, it doesn't really matter because they're both owned by the same company, Molson Coors. Do you feel like fried chicken tonight or pizza? Doesn't really matter either because same company. This could honestly go on all day, so I'll just cut to the chase and say that despite all the choices you might think you have, 11 companies basically control everything that you buy. And it's not just in consumer goods. This trend of concentration exists pretty much across all industries. Take a look at some of the data points on this chart that shows the global market share of each industry's top 5 firms. Footwear, around 95%. Healthcare, above 90%. Movies, looks like right around 90% as well. Going a little further down the list, banking, around 75%. Beer, which we just talked about, around 75% as well. Now, this pattern of consolidation alone wouldn't necessarily be catastrophic, as in the past the government has usually intervened to regulate monopolistic abuses. But in the United States, we now have this perverse campaign finance environment whereby corporations can donate unlimited sums to political campaigns. And let's just keep it real, we all know that money corrupts. So what we have here is essentially a situation where regulators are oftentimes in bed with the people they're meant to be regulating. And this perfect storm of corporate consolidation along with the corporatization of government has far-reaching implications, specifically limiting the real freedoms that you and I are able to enjoy. Let's start with media. 6 companies control 90% of the media outlets in America. 90% of what we read, watch, or listen to. This leaves very little room for startups or independent media to make significant inroads. There's a saying, if you don't pay for the media you want, you'll be sold the media that someone else wants you to see. I'm not sure who that quote is attributed to, but that's exactly what's happening in America. The media exists to maintain the status quo, to keep power in the hands of a few, and to limit the freedoms of the many. Let's talk about search. Google owns 92% of search. That is wild. One company trusted by almost everyone to give an answer to any question being asked. I'm not saying they're already doing this, but they certainly have the power to prioritize products or restaurants or ideologies or even governments. Think about the implications of that. Because of its market share, Google has the power to essentially choose winners and losers, and that's a really scary thought. Let's also talk about the effect on workers. Because of consolidation, there are now fewer firms in any given industry, so workers now have less choice, less option for mobility. Can't move from one company to another as easily because there are fewer of them, and therefore less ability for them to negotiate for a better salary. And the result is a stagnation of real wages over the last 40 years. There are so many more examples of this that we can go into. Let me know in the comments below what I might have missed, but the point I want to make, the point I want to end on is this. We have to do something to break up the marriage between the government and the corporations. Businesses, they're always going to be there to try to make money, but the government should be there to protect the public. But that's not what's happening anymore. Corporations fund our elected officials, and our elected officials write and pass legislation on behalf of the most powerful, and the cycle repeats over and over again. I mean, it doesn't really matter how well-intentioned a politician is. When push comes to shove, it all comes down to money. So I'd rather have the money come from us and not the corporations. And that's why I'm so passionate about getting money out of politics. Because if we make campaign finance a core issue and only vote for those who do not take any money from corporations in any form, that's the only chance of real change. That's the only chance to restore the freedoms that are so core to this country. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the discussion, and let me know what your thoughts are. Also, be sure to like and subscribe and share the video with your friends and family so we can grow our community together. My name is James Lay. I appreciate you for your time, and I'll see you next week.